Hello, lovely people. How are you all doing out there? I'm Kate Hill, and I am here to give you the best, unbiased and honest commentary about our property markets, along with some really awesome hints and tips, so stay tuned. Now, just really quickly before we get started, if you are interested in what is happening specifically with the Brisbane property markets, then you need to watch these videos right here. Okay, getting straight into it. The Australian economy is predicted to rebound faster than expected from the coronavirus recession, reaching its pre-pandemic size within weeks. But it will continue to be supported by record low interest rates for years. The International Monetary Fund forecasts that the Australian economy is to expand 4.5% this year after shrinking by 2.4% in 2020. This is a substantial upgrade to the fund's January forecast, when it expected the Australian economy to grow by 3.5% this year. Next year, Australia's economic growth is forecast to edge down to 2.8%, but even that rate is still a lot higher compared to the country's performance over the past decade. The better growth will translate into an average jobless rate of 6% this year, before falling to maybe 5.5% through to 2022. Now, only countries that suffered much deeper hits last year, such as France, the United States, and Britain at minus 9.9%, are actually expected to grow at a greater rate than Australia through 2021. The IMF expects Australia's inflation to remain subdued, with consumer price growth to average 1.7% this year and 1.6% in 2022, before reaching 2.4% in 2026. The Reserve Bank of Australia most recently kept the official cash rate at a record equal low of 0.1%. The RBA Governor Philip Lowe said that the bank was committed to getting inflation sustainably within its 2 to 3% target band, which would require a much tighter national jobs market. He said that was unlikely to eventuate until 2024 at the very earliest. He also said that the outlook for the economy had improved over the last few months as vaccines have rolled out and global trade has picked up, while commodity prices have also increased. Record low interest rates and government grants have contributed to a sharp rise in property prices over the first quarter of 2021, with Sydney and Melbourne home values rising 3.7% and 2.4% respectively, according to CoreLogic data. Now, these sharp rises, which are expected to continue for the next few months, have resulted in some analysts raising concerns that the markets may be overheating. But so far, no action has been taken by the regulators. Philip Lowe noted that house prices were rising in most markets. Now, this is remarkably accurate for an economist who generally only focus on Sydney and Melbourne. But as anyone will know who watches my videos and who's buying property out there, the property markets in many, many areas around Australia are running red hot. It's not just Sydney and Melbourne. There were 874 homes taken to auction over the weekend, according to CoreLogic figures, just the busiest Easter weekend on record. A preliminary clearance rate of 79.4% was achieved. While the end of the $19 billion JobKeeper wage subsidy scheme at the end of March is expected to result in up to 150,000 people losing work, a senior ANZ economist said that the overall employment loss would be smaller due to growing demand elsewhere. She said that while we expect a temporary rise in the unemployment rate, we think it will resume its rapid downward trajectory in late 2021. Australia's property prices increased at their fastest rate in 30 years over March, with Sydney and Melbourne house values rising tens of thousands of dollars in 1 month. CoreLogic data shows property prices nationally increased 2.8% in March, with Sydney up 3.7% over the month, and as we've already reported, Melbourne jumping 2.4%. Over the first 3 months of the year, Sydney's dwelling prices rose 6.7% and Melbourne up 4.9%. The significant price increases have been particularly substantial for detached housing. Sydney's median house price is up about $50,000 since February, and Melbourne's house values up $20,000. In the first 3 months of the year, Sydney's detached house price increased 8.2%. ANZ recently predicted property prices could surge as much as 90% in Sydney and 16% in Melbourne before slowing in 2022. CoreLogic Research Director Tim Lawless said the last time prices surged at this level in Sydney was in June and July 2015. House prices in Australia jumped 2.1% in February, which is the biggest month-on-month gain in almost 18 years. Following this brief surge, the pace of growth rapidly slowed as limits on investor lending kicked in to slow the market. Regional home values have been leading the price boom, leading to speculation that the pandemic has prompted a long-term exodus from the capitals in favour of lower density country living. However, major cities are now starting to lead the increases again. Last month, every capital city grew faster than its regional counterparts, except for Melbourne, which was modestly outpaced by country Victoria. However, both ANZ and CoreLogic are suggesting that the second half of 2021 will see the rapid price growth slow down a little. While record low interest rates are expected to remain for years, housing affordability issues, a decline in fiscal stimulus, and the possibility of tighter lending policies could all have an effect over the next few months. And on that same note, the prudential regulator APRA sees no need to place restrictions on borrowing to buy real estate, and it has the support of one of the major banks. Westpac Chief Executive Peter King has backed APRA's resistance to curtailing home lending, saying that the situation is vastly different to the last time limits were introduced. APRA says it is not ready to intervene in the housing market because there was no evidence at all that lending standards have deteriorated. APRA Chairman Wayne Burrs has told a parliamentary committee that activity is being driven by first home buyers, creating a different dynamic to the one that compelled APRA to curb investor loans in 2014 and 2017. King says that the situation is a bit more complicated this time, with home buyers mostly seeking detached dwellings, leading to a mismatch of supply and demand that is sending prices higher. Now, as always, everyone, we will keep you posted on all things property from around Australia as the year progresses. I am giving you the best commentary and content here on this channel, so please, for my end of video beg, please just quickly hit that subscribe button, click the notification bell so that you're getting all our news and our expert hints and tips around buying, owning and investing in property as soon as I post them. If you're enjoying the free content, then please just hit that like button quickly. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you again really soon. Bye.